Hey guys, 7WD Rocks here, and thank you for joining for the fourth episode of Saturday Night's Kickout. I know I have a few new subscribers. So if you don't know what the show is me on Saturday, of course, every Saturday talking about what happened in the past: Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Impact, Ring of Honor, PWG. It doesn't matter. I talk all wrestling, and I want to thank you for joining me, and watching the show, and I really do appreciate that. I know you guys have busy schedules, and just taking the time out of your day to watch maybe 20 to 30 minute show is very nice of you, and I really appreciate it. Now, before I get started, I would like to show you a book I purchased today, the Hardy Boys WWE version, and I'm really excited to start reading it. It looks like a good book, and I got it for like $7 or something like that at half price books. And I just really one day want to get it signed by both of them. I know Jeff Hardy, his signature is really cool. It's he does like an artistic, like his face and stuff when he signs, and I know for him it probably takes him like that, like he's able to draw it really quick because he is an artist. But just for him to take the time out of his day to do that and to really sign it instead of just some wrestler doing a random scribble, I think that's really nice of him. And yeah, hopefully I'll get it signed by the Hardy Boys one day, and I'll let you guys know if it's a good read. And I'm really looking forward to reading it. Let's get right into this show. As you can tell, this episode was titled "How Much Is the WWE Network?" and it happens. Now, how much is WWE Network? Last Monday, they put over the WWE Network so many times, saying it was $9.99. I thought Triple H did a really good job of it. I know people were annoyed by Michael Cole always telling us how much the network is, and he needs to shut up about it. I think it was great that Triple H really said it, got the fans even chanting it back to him. I thought that was really smart and funny at the same time, kind of like in a heelish manner, but still he got the fans to chant it, which is kind of insane, I think, because no one really cares about always hearing about it. But I think Triple H did a great job on that, and that's another thing I think he's doing really well on Raw. And we saw Kane versus Roman Reigns in a last man standing match, with Roman Reigns getting the win. That's not the big story. I think the big story is that Kane unmasked once again. He gave his mask back to Stephanie McMahon, and apparently it's just so he can go and promote his new movie, See No Evil 2, the horror movie that WWE made. And apparently it's just to promote that. I expect him to be gone for a while, kind of like Batista's thing, and then come back maybe without the mask or with it again and do something crazy. It's one of those things where he does every time. And but yeah, he unmasked. That kind of sucks to see, but I just want him to be the regular monster he is, not being the authorities monster, being doesn't give a crap about anybody but himself, and would take out anybody in his way. So that's the monster I really want to see. Now, moving on to Rusev and Swagger feud, it's going to be a flag match at SummerSlam. That'll be cool to see. But being a flag match, I'm going to make a predictions video, so don't worry about that. I'm going to make a predictions video next week. But basically saying Swagger getting the win shouldn't be that shocking, because I feel like if Swagger does get the big win at SummerSlam, then they could still play off the fact that, Rusev's still never been pinned or submitted. He just won in the stupid flag match. I could see something like that happening, but I'll give my predictions next week. And yeah, so I like how it's kind of Lana versus Zeb Coulter, and Rusev and Swagger kind of just a big muscle that stand behind him. I kind of like that feud, and it gives Zeb more chance to get over the crowd. It gives Swagger more chance to get over the crowd. And I always make this joke on Twitter that it seems like Lana or the WWE is always trying to put over Barack Obama, or President George Bush, President Barack Obama. It seems like they're trying to put them over because they always try to get the fans chanting for them instead of mean old Putin and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of funny. But moving on, here we go. We got Stardust, and I honestly have no idea where they are taking this feud, because at first I thought I had it in my mind. I'm like, they're setting up for Cody Rhodes versus Goldust at SummerSlam, but now I'm thinking, wow, what are they doing with it? Why are they keeping this gimmick? I know it's been a while, and I'm glad he gets into it. Cody Rhodes does a great job in any character they put him in, but it just seems like, where's this leading? Like, why can't this lead to Cody versus Goldust? That's something I wanted to see at SummerSlam. Obviously, it's probably not going to happen, but I still think somewhere down the road, this Stardust thing should lead into him being like just pissed off at his brother, making him look like an idiot and stuff, and just taking Goldust out. I want to see something like that, but Maybe they are saving it for WrestleMania. Who knows? Maybe the Stardust thing goes all the way till like the Royal Rumble or something, and then their feud starts, and it finally ends at WrestleMania. Maybe that's something that's gonna happen. But yeah, Stardust. I was kind of excited for the beginning because I'm like, this is just his way of to say, his brother looks like an idiot and stuff, and Goldust is so stupid and blah blah blah, and then finally freak out. But I guess that's not gonna happen. We'll see what happens though. But the big main event, not main event for Raw, was Seth Rollins supposed to verse Rob Van Dam. It was Dean Ambrose versus Alberto Del Rio, and I'm not going to talk about the Del Rio situation. I made a video about it yesterday, and really there isn't much more news today. There was the person that they think was the employee that Del Rio slapped has been named, that it could be possibly him. But yeah, so I'm not going to really talk about Del Rio, but Ambrose beat Del Rio in like 15 minutes, so Rollins had to verse RVD, of course, to beat the clock, beat him in less than 15 minutes. So RVD comes out, and then Authority or somebody, Michael Cole or somebody says, oh, this isn't Triple H, or this isn't Seth Rollins' opponent. His opponent is, and then Heath Slater's music hit, and it was just like, why even bring Rob Van Dam out? That's just stupid. But so Dean Ambrose, he comes to ringside. He gets the briefcase, Seth Rollins' briefcase, so he does catch him off guard. He catches his attention. Seth Rollins is like, what are you doing out here? And then he just destroys his briefcase. He rips up the contract. He pours soda in it, pours popcorn in it, takes JBL's hat, stuffs it in it, and slams it together and finally holds it. And Rollins is just pissed off. He cannot believe it, but he's still kind of holding his own against Slater, so that's kind of funny. He's still kind of beating him up during the match, but finally Heath Slater gets a quick roll up and gets the 1, 2, 3. Heath Slater beats Seth Rollins, and then such a shocking moment. I think it's such a funny moment like that, and it's cool to see a jobber like that. Now we kind of know maybe he is going somewhere. Titus O'Neil and him, I think they're tag team named Slater and Gator or something like that. And they got a win on main event. They beat Stardust and Goldust. So it looks like Heath Slater is actually going somewhere. So that's really cool to see. And yeah, Slater picks up a big win on Raw, and that's always great to see. And moving on to the main event, we had the contract signing between Stephanie and Brie Bella. And Triple H was with Stephanie, and Nikki was with Brie, and it was going well. I forget what they were talking about or something, but I think Stephanie was making fun of Brie for taking the spotlight away from her sister and being all about herself and blah blah blah. And finally, she took the contract, the big book, and just hit Nikki across the face. Nikki went down, and then it was just an all-out brawl from there. And Triple H took the table so he would slam it in the corner with Brie still behind it, so Brie couldn't get out of it. While Stephanie, in the first time in many years, hits a pedigree on Nikki Bella, and then she hit another pedigree on Brie Bella. So that was cool to see. I'm very excited for this match. I'm still waiting for. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. Are you waiting for Nikki Bella to turn heel? I feel like that match will happen at Night of Champions. I feel like it will be Nikki Bella versus Brie Bella, Night of Champions, because I think either Nikki's going to turn heel at SummerSlam or later down the road. I still think Nikki will turn heel and verse her sister, but I'm really excited for the SummerSlam match with Stephanie and Brie, but I feel like something's fishy. Something's gonna happen that makes it so Stephanie doesn't have to pull off a good match. But I feel like most of the match, if not all of it, Brie is just beating up Stephanie, just beating the crap out of her, and then finally something happens, like Nikki turns heel, or karma comes out from the crowd. Who knows? Something cool happens. But yeah, so that's cool to see. I don't know about it finishing Raw twice, 2 times, back-to-back weeks, finishing off Raw. That's kind of weird to see. And some people kind of were pissed about that, but it is a major storyline. So I think that's why it was, being the main event, But, yeah, moving on from Raw, we're going to talk about NXT, actually. I know some of you guys probably don't watch NXT, but I would, because CJ Parker versus Xavier Woods in a great match. I wouldn't say, fantastic match, because I don't want to get anybody's hopes up and they go and watch the match and be like, well, that wasn't even that great, Daniel, what are you talking about? But Xavier Woods versus CJ Parker was really good. I think Xavier Woods is really talented. He does some insane moves in that match. He does a coast to coast elbow drop. It was crazy. He went up to do an elbow drop, and C.J. Parker was way too far for him to hit him. He was like 3/4, the opposite way. So he goes up on the ropes like in a coast-to-coast way and jumps and just leaps and finally lands on him. And it was a really cool match, really good. And yeah, it showed me Xavier Woods is really talented. I knew he was as Consequences Creed in TNA, but you've got to see the match. He's really good. And also another great match on NXT, Sami Zayn and Adam Rose versus Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel. During that match, Adam Rose, at first I loved Adam Rose's character. I was like, this is a good character. Then I'm like, on his stuff on Raw, how he promotes movies and promotes Sonic and stuff, I was like, this character sucks. I can't stand it. But after seeing that match, him and Sami Zayn teaming up, it was really good. And Adam Rose is a really cool move, really sick move that like I never expected a guy his size to do. So definitely watch that match. NXT is great, and I really enjoy it. And if you don't follow NXT, you will see that the Ascension won the best tag team in NXT, but they need to make their way to the main roster. And I think a tag team tournament is happening. That there's a bunch of teams, and whoever gets, it's team versus team in the finals, and whoever wins that is the #1 contender for the NXT Tag Team Championships. And whoever wins that, I do believe, will go on to beat the Ascension for the Tag Team Championships at the, I believe it's going to be at the TakeOver 2 pay-per-view. I think the Ascension are going to drop the titles only because I feel like they're going to debut on Raw very soon. I honestly think a big NXT arrival should happen, no pun intended with the pay-per-view arrival, but an NXT debut should happen of an NXT on Raw the day after SummerSlam. I think after a big pay-per-view, they should have maybe the Ascension pop up, maybe something like that. So I'm going to predict it now. I think the Ascension will debut the day after SummerSlam. I really hope that does happen. But whoever wins the tag team tournament, I'm going to have to say they're going to beat the Ascension for the tag team championships. And yeah, you heard it first. So moving on to SmackDown. SmackDown was basically revolved around Ambrose versus Rollins, their whole feud and stuff. And we saw Seth Rollins at the end of the show pour soda all over Ambrose and just beat the crap out of him just to send him a message. You did that to my briefcase, I'm going to do it to you. And but Ambrose picked the stipulation for their match at SummerSlam. He picked a lumberjack match, but I'm kind of disappointed it's a lumberjack match, and I'm also kind of disappointed how he said it. He said, me and you as the Shield, we made a lot of enemies, and they're going to be surrounding the ring as we fight, and they're not going to let you get out of the, just hightail it out of the arena like you did at Money in the Bank. But, I'm sorry, not Money in the Bank, Battlegrounds. And I thought if you and Seth Rollins made a bunch of enemies as you were the Shield, why would you want those guys around the arena? Why not just have a steel cage match or a Hell in a Cell match so Seth Rollins can't get out? But yeah, it's gonna be a lumberjack match at SummerSlam, so I guess that'll be interesting to see. But I was hoping for something more. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think the match should have been? I think it should have been something better, but yeah, I don't get why you'd want your enemies around the ring just so if you fall out of the ring, they can beat the crap out of you and then throw you back in. But, it is what it is. And, we have the big Raw. This week's Raw is going to be huge. Finally, we are going to have Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Hulk Hogan on the same episode of Raw. First, talking about Hulk Hogan, a possible NWO reunion because special guests are supposed to take place on Hulk Hogan's birthday celebration. That will be great to see, and I would love to see, whoever shows up, Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, NWO, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash. That'd be great to see, and I'm very excited to see that. And for the first time in weeks, we finally get to see WWE World Heavyweight Champion John Cena and Brock Lesnar on the same show. Now they need to do something big. I know SummerSlam, everyone's gonna, watch it because they want to see Brock, tear Cena apart, or if you are a Cena fan, you want to see if Cena can survive and beat the odds and beat Brock Lesnar. Now, they need to have something big where these two finally, I know they'll probably want to say at the start of the show, maybe, they're not going to fight each other. You're banned from hitting each other, but I feel like there's going to be a big moment where they just start, brawling and just, beating each other up and giving us a small taste of what's going to happen at SummerSlam. I really hope that does happen. And I do think, I'm not going to make a prediction yet, but basically, the big main event for SummerSlam, and these guys haven't even been on Raw in 2-3 weeks. So we need to have them finally fight each other, and something crazy happen. But yeah, I'm very excited for this coming Raw. I know all of you are gonna watch it, and it's gonna be awesome. So it's gonna be a good night. And as we transition from WWE into TNA Impact now. Impact, it was exciting episode, definitely exciting. But I'm gonna let you know my big thoughts on it. We're gonna transition to Impact. It happens. L Giant 37303. If you want to save money, go to his channel. That's L Giant 37303. He asked me, can he believe that it happens? And I will get to the end of that. I will answer your question. And yeah, I'll get into it at the end of the video. So. We have Samuel Shaw, my thoughts on his character. If you haven't seen, Samuel Shaw is partners with Gunner now, and Mr. Anderson doesn't trust Gunner. Most importantly, he doesn't trust Samuel Shaw because he had that big feud with him, and he thinks it's stupid Gunner is actually helping them, and blah blah blah. And they versed the bromance with Zema Ion. It was a 6-man tag match, and Samuel Shaw just beat the crap out of everybody, and it looked like, wow, he's saving everybody. He's saving Anderson, he's saving Gunner, he's taking out everyone. Anderson's just staring at in shock, I guess, and he looks like he's about to approach him, and then he gets rolled up, and as Samuel Shaw tries to break up the pin, he gets grabbed, so he can't. And Anderson snaps after the match, grabs Samuel Shaw, acts like he's about to punch him, and he doesn't. He comes to his senses, and he's like, I'm not gonna waste my time. But I am hoping this storyline goes, somewhere big. I hope maybe Gunner turns heel or Samuel Shaw once again shows, like, at the biggest moment where everyone finally accepts Samuel Shaw's a good guy. He's a great guy. He's here. He's not crazy like he was. He turns his back and just totally blindsides everybody. Just shocks everyone. So I do hope out of this someone turns heel. Maybe Gunner or maybe Samuel Shaw again. I think something's up with this, but yeah. So, I hope this storyline does head somewhere big. Moving on, we saw Al Snow return to save Team Bully. He was the 4th member of Team Bully. That was awesome to see. It was a good match. It was decent, I guess, because it is a hardcore match, so they can do a lot of crazy stuff without really, doing a lot of crazy stuff like big wrestling technical moves. They can just, hit somebody with a chair and then that's it. But it was cool to see Al Snow back. It was awesome to see the heads. All the fans had the heads, and he has the head from WWF early days, early time in his career, or not his early time. You know what I mean, WWE career. And yeah, he had his head and stuff, and that was great to see. And he got the big win. He did a moonsault out of the ring to tackle, I forget who. I think Ezekiel Jackson and Snitsy. But it was awesome to see a man that age do a freaking moonsault. That's awesome. And yeah, so it was great to see Al Snow back. I'm fine with them bringing, legends and old guys every once in a while. They don't have to be there every week, but it was cool to see that. He got a big pop, so that was awesome to see. Moving on, we saw a new X Division champion crowned. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was Sonata versus Loki versus Samoa Joe. I think if you agree with me, please comment. Samoa Joe kind of looked slow in the ring. He did an outside dive where he jumps through the middle ropes and hits an elbow. Now, that's awesome. A man that size can do it. But he kind of did it kind of slow. Like, he kind of went a little sluggish and just, like, dove out. So, I don't know. It wasn't the fastest, X Division match we've seen. It wasn't really fast-paced, but it was awesome to see. And it's great to see a guy like Samoa Joe, who I think deserves the World Heavyweight Championship. It's good to see he's going somewhere. He has the X Division Championship, and it's good to see TNA has interest in him to take him somewhere. So, yes, your new X Division Champion is Austin Aries, dang it, is Samoa Joe. Awesome to see. And, yeah, I love Samoa Joe. And, excuse me, hold on. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And, yeah, great to see Samoa Joe as X Division Champion. And I'm very excited to see him give some prestige and legacy to that belt. And moving on, we have, oh yeah, L Giant 37303. He asked something about Bobby Roode, I think. Oh, he was telling me that something about, I'll talk about it later. But it had to do with Bobby Roode being champion. And now we have Bobby Roode calling out Bobby Lashley. Bobby Roode has said he's beat MVP, he's beat Kenny King. Now it's time to beat Bobby Lashley for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I definitely want to see this match. Don't get me wrong. I want to see this match. That match would be awesome because you got a guy they've built up really well, Bobby Lashley. You got this big powerhouse Bobby Lashley taking out everyone. Yeah, definitely have that match with him and Bobby Roode. But I do think they should save this match till Bound for Glory. I think it could easily be a big main event for Bound for Glory, and I just, excuse me, I think that it needs to happen at Bound for Glory. I don't want them to use it right away, but I think Bobby Roode should finally take the belt off Bobby Lashley at Bound for Glory. I think that's when it should happen. I don't think it should happen soon. I think they should kind of build it, but it looks like they're going right away with it, with him beating MVP and Kenny King. I'm talking about Bobby Roode. Him beating both of Bobby Lashley's lackeys, MVP and King. It looks like they are setting up for it very soon, but I really wish they would hold on to it till Bound for Glory. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for that match? Would you really want to see that match? Would you pay money to see that match? Buy the pay-per-view in Japan to see that match? Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, moving on. Here it is. I'll answer LGiant37303's question. Was I excited to see Dixie Carter finally get through a table? Yes, it happens. Now, before I talk about, literally her getting powerbombed through a table, I'm going to talk about how TNA, I really didn't like how they basically said, watch TNA tonight because she is going through a table. Day after, literally after 2 weeks ago's episode ended, day after day after day, they posted the same exact video of it happens, day leading up to last Thursday. Now, I just don't think they needed to do that. And then on Thursday, on the day it happened, early in the day, they posted some fans' reactions of it. Some guy was selling tickets in New York, and he said this is going to air on on TNA on Spike TV tonight. And the fans were flipping out that she went through a table. Now, I just don't think they needed to do that. They could have said Bully Ray could have been you need to watch because I am putting her through a table, and that would have been it. I actually heard it was better than the previous week's episode, a small better. It was a 1.4, something. Sorry, I don't really know TV ratings, but it was a 1.4, and the previous week's was 1.3. So it did better, but apparently it was still an average episode of Impact. So I just don't get that. I think the whole episode, they were just leading up to it. It seemed like the entire episode didn't matter until that, but enough negativity. Dixie Carter, that moment, let me set it up. When they finally, Bully Ray speared King Mo, her bodyguard, to, beat him up. They took out everybody, took out Rockstars. They didn't take out Rockstar, excuse me. They took out EC3, they took out everyone. Oh, yeah. Before I get into this, I'm sorry I keep interrupting myself, but Dixie Carter fired Ezekiel Jackson and Snitsky. Now, I think it wasn't pointless because they did their characters extremely well. If you needed a guy just for the needed bodyguards, just for the New York tapings, they were perfect guys to do it. But to have them get fired and have them, that's it, they're done with TNA, I think that really sucks. I really wanted Ezekiel Jackson in it, really wanted Snitsky, and I wish they would have their own singles career. And yeah, that really sucked to see them get fired. And I know it was just a one-time thing. Apparently, it's just a one-time thing, and they did their roles perfectly. But it just kind of sucked that we didn't get to see more out of them. And I was actually really excited to see them. At first, I wasn't, but then when I thought about it, I was like, they can really make some good careers in TNA. But that's whatever. But yeah, she fired Ezekiel Jackson and Snitsky, and then so it looked like she was gonna get put through a table. They set up the table. Everything was going, oh my gosh, it's gonna happen. And Rockstar Spud, pulled her out of the ring and hightailed. They were like, we're out of here. And the entire face locker room, led by Bobby Roode, came out and said, you're not going anywhere. Tommy Dreamer picked her, got her back up, threw her in the ring. Devon picked her up. I think he even kissed her. I forget, though. Gave her to Bully, and that image of the TNA locker room, all the good guys slapping the mat in union, just everyone just getting ready for the moment. I literally had goosebumps. That moment was awesome. I'm gonna remember that for a really long time, maybe forever. That was just so cool to see them all slapping the mat, in unit. It's gonna happen finally. And Bully Ray jump off the top turnbuckle and just power bomb her through the table. Now everyone's saying, oh, she didn't really go through the table and it didn't look good at all. He's not gonna actually put her through a table. He's not gonna kill the lady. I mean, come on. Now, I would say the one with Bully Ray and Mae Young looked a lot better. May she rest in peace, Mae Young. That one looked a lot better, but it was awesome to see Dixie, do something for not only the fans and for the company she loves. Took an insane bump, and Bully Ray did a great job, I think, protecting her. Apparently, she broke her back technically, and that's awful. But Bully Ray was the guy to do it because he knows what he's doing. He definitely made it look like he totally had her. He basically landed his freaking butt, smashed his own butt through the table just so he could protect her, and that was awesome to see. But in the end, it was awesome to see. It was so cool, and I'm really glad. I really respect Dixie Carter doing something like that. Awesome. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, yeah, look back. It was really cool to see. It was awesome to see all the wrestlers, jump up, the crowd just blow the roof off the place. That was great to see. And yeah, good luck to Dixie Carter, and I hope she's, healing with her family and stuff. I'm sure we'll see her down the road, but it was good to get her character finally off TV. Finally have it so it's just about the wrestling and not corrupt boss storyline and stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be cool to see. And yeah, it was awesome. Thank you for your question, LGiant37303. Go check out his channel once again. And moving on, end of the show almost. Match of the week. This really, I honestly, it had me troubled. I couldn't think of match of the week, to be honest, because some matches were good. Some, Raw, I really couldn't think of one. With Cesaro versus Ziggler, that sounds like a great match, but honestly, I can't really remember what happened. But I'm honestly going to go with, this might be a shocker one, but I'm going to go with the Monsters Ball match, Bram versus Abyss. Now, honestly, I can't stand Bram. I think his character is just kind of boring. It's bland. Not bland, but I just think he's stealing the spotlight from Magnus, who I think should be in the main event. But I just don't get the big deal about him. But he really did surprise me. That Monsters Ball match was awesome. Him getting hit in the choke slam into tacks with like blood just pouring off his back. Him spearing Abyss through a barbed wire cable. That was just awesome. And I'm gonna have to give that match of the week. It was a great match. Also, C.J. Parker versus Xavier Woods was good. Adam Rose and Sami Zayn versus Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel was good. TNA, the hardcore weapons death match, extreme, everything was cool to see. But it's one of those matches where they literally don't have to do very much, but it looks awesome. So I really didn't give it that much. But yeah, Bram surprised me. That was a really good match, and I really enjoyed it. And it was also, it started off the show. It wasn't just promos. It started off the show, and that's how you get fans involved. You get an awesome match like that. That's what I really like seeing. And yeah, almost done with the end of the show. I have one viewer. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And sorry I'm not watching, so if you are commenting, I can't see. I'm not looking at the feed, but because I'm about to end the show anyway. But the kick out segment, if you don't know the segment, it's where there's so much negativity in the wrestling world. I want to talk about I'm going to do a big segment talking about, what's great about wrestling, what made this week awesome. Now, honestly, starting now the segment, kick out segment, where I finally get to do the big kick out and wrestling is still hot. Basically, all I would have to say, honestly, is Dixie Carter got powerbombed through a table. That was awesome. That was such a great moment that, non-wrestling fans can think that's awesome. The non-wrestling fans can be like, wow, that was so sick that happened. And see, I'm like stuttering. It was so awesome. It was just such a cool moment. And, Raw was okay, I think. I don't remember it being that great. You get to see Stephanie wrestle soon. Next week, I think I'll have so much more to talk about. Next week, I believe, is the Wolves versus Team 3D. What is it? I can't. No, next week, I believe, is the Wolves. Not the Wolves, I'm sorry. Next week is Hardys versus Team 3D. So I think that will be awesome. This week's Raw is going to be awesome, so you have that to look forward to. There's so much you just have to look forward to. It doesn't even have to do with, this wrestling week wasn't, like the best wrestling week ever, but you have so much to look forward to, and wrestling's just awesome in every way. And, yeah, so that's the end of the show. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Let me know, tips I can do in a positive way, of course. Maybe what I can work on, what I could talk about, maybe some segments you'd want to see. That'd be a good thing for you guys to say. And yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Follow me on Twitter at 7WRocks. And I just thank you guys for watching. I really enjoyed doing this, and it's a lot of fun. Hopefully I didn't go too long so you guys aren't bored out of your mind. But thanks for watching. As always, have a nice day. Thank you guys. Enjoy wrestling. And just, this wrestling week is gonna be awesome. So you have Raw, Impact, SmackDown even, NXT, and then SummerSlam, of course, which is going to be freaking awesome. So thank you for watching. As always, have a nice day.